I believe that art education actually gives us not only skills in art, but gives us wonderful opportunities to collaborate with other artists, to collaborate with other teachers, with students, to have rich experiences that otherwise we wouldn't have. Um, I taught at Florida Atlantic University and Nova Southeastern and Barry, and Palm Beach Community College. I taught children's literature and language arts. I was quite a few years at FAU doing that. And I developed a very deep love through teaching and through teaching children's literature and language arts for children's books. So I decided at one point, why not take the love of children's books and my love for art and merge them? Well, the opportunity came because my mom was a writer and she wrote a story of her life. So we ended up writing a book, The House Where Happiness Lived. And we took her life story, which was set in the Great Depression, and my illustrations, and we went ahead and we wrote a children's book. And it was a wonderful collaboration. I would highly suggest you collaborate with someone on something like that, which led to me collaborating with other books and writing Stitch and Sew, the Dollmaker story, and illustrating it, and other books, Turducken, with Stacy Jovine. Then I met a woman by the name of Vicki Gibbons, and she was, her father was diagnosed and passed away from Alzheimer's, and she wanted to come up with some sort of a guidebook, a help book. So when people's memories started going, they would have a place for their caregivers to tell about their favorite foods, their clothes, their family, their religious affiliations, those type of things. So she came up with this guidebook and I illustrated it. My point here is collaborating with others gives you new perspectives on your art. And as an educator, we should look for those opportunities. I was fortunate also to get a grant from the Broward Cultural Division, and I worked at United Cerebral Palsy. So I started working with adults with disabilities, intellectual dysfunction. What a crew. What a fun group of people to work with. I didn't think I'd enjoy them, and I love them. Love these people. Anyways, we ended up doing art projects for a whole year. I went and worked with them on a weekly basis, and I came up with the program Art Intended for All. And it was a program where we painted, we did fish printing, we did photography. Some of these people, they had never held a camera in their life. And it was really a fun project to work with people. And the education portion for these people was about connecting with others, connecting with themselves and what they knew. There was one young woman that was in the program who, if I did portraits, she wanted to do landscape. If I did landscape, she wanted to do portraits. She always wanted to do something else. But what was funny is when we got all done with everything, she had done everything, but she never would do it on the normal timeline. But that was her way of doing things. This young man, Billy, he was in the class. He had never held a camera in his life. He took all these pictures, and then we ended up going through all the pictures that everyone took, and we selected them to put in an exhibit. All of Billy's, he had his thumb stuck right in. And he was so upset. And I said, yeah, but Billy, look at these. They're cool. They almost look like they're planets with the light around them. So we printed up some of them. He was so proud. So a lot of times art gives its way to new avenues that we didn't expect. Further, I had the very good fortune to work up in Ohio, my home state, for a couple summers. And I worked for the Arts Commission on a project called Young Artists at Work. These were students 14 through 18. They were paid. to come and be artists, and we did community projects. We did a large-scale mural in, it was called Imagination Station. It was like the Science Museum, but when you walk in, one year, another year, we did these large-scale panels that were put throughout a park, and it was the Toledo, Spain park, but it was changed. The name was also added to the Peace and Healing Commons because the neighborhood itself had a lot of gang violence, and the images that these apprentices painted were created to promote calm and healing. It was a wonderful project to work with these young people. I absolutely loved working with them and hope someday again to do it in the future. It was phenomenal. So as I said, my work life in art education has been diverse. My most recent position was with the Boca Raton Museum of Art, where I was the Family and Youth Program Manager, and really enjoyed that position for a good amount of time. I worked with collaborated with some wonderful, fabulous artists through different programming. So keep that in mind, that art education is vital, but it also is about connections and working together and communicating our thoughts and our ideas. And a lot of times the communication that we present can be healing in nature. Our art can protest. It can be for civil rights. It can be to beautify. Art education, yes, it definitely does help with academic skills, and it does help with so many of the things that we learn in school from other academic areas. But I believe that art, for art's sake, is essential, because if we learn so much more sometimes for just doing art for art's sake. So yes, do art to beautify. Yes, do art with others, but also do art for you, because you are important. And what you have to say through your art, maybe people like it, maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. It matters that you are doing it and you are expressing yourself. And I think that is a wonderful thing to do, to build self-confidence, build self-esteem, and to be an artist. So congratulations again to all of you. I wish you the best in your art education and in your careers and in your school life. So get busy, start creating, and thank you again.